Important to add that this whole process of making a sourdough starter is probably going to take you about a week, possibly 2 weeks, depending. Longer is better, I would say. If you can let it ferment for about 2 weeks, you're gonna be in great shape. But it's about a week-long process, and I promise you it's not a super involved process. It's gonna take you less than 5 minutes a day. So it's not like you have to have set aside this long piece of time every day. No, it's literally gonna take you less than 5 minutes. Super easy, super quick. So I just wanted to add that in before we get into the video. So yeah, we can get to the video now. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Gosh, every time I do that, I really feel like I'm on Disney Channel. If you were born in '97 and you grew up with that, you know what I'm talking about. If not, just ignore me. So today I want to show you guys how to make sourdough starter. I promise you this is not going to be a channel solely about sourdough starter. I just thought I would throw this video in there because I've used a couple recipes that have, like, you need sourdough starter, like my bread and my bagels. So I thought it would be helpful to have a video showing you how to even get the starter, because I know it can kind of seem like it's really confusing. There's a lot of different things out there and you can kind of fall down a bunny rabbit hole trying to figure out like what's right, what's wrong. I promise you, just like I've mentioned in my other videos, sourdough is not a science, it's an art. It's pretty foolproof, I want to say. It's hard to mess up, so don't be scared of it. Embrace it. What you need is just a mason jar. It doesn't have to be the biggest jar. You can always transfer sourdough starter. So don't be afraid to start small. I'm gonna leave the recipe that I'm using in the description, just in case you want to see more of the nitty-gritty detail. I'm not going to get into all that because that's not, like, again, I don't follow everything to a T. But if that's helpful for you, I'll leave that there so that way you have access to that information. I'm not going to measure this with a scale because that's not what I do to feed my starter. I just use half a cup of all-purpose flour and half a cup of water. Now, when it comes to flour, you can use different flour. Usually when I feed my starter, I'm using bread flour. I mean, I think in the recipe that I'm gonna share with you, like how she does it with whole wheat flour. I mean, you could do it with different flours, but for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna use all-purpose flour because that's also what I have on hand. So don't be afraid to use what you have on hand. When I first made mine, all I had on hand was bleached all-purpose flour. I don't buy bleached all-purpose flour anymore, so I use unbleached all-purpose flour. How many times in this video can I say all-purpose flour? Should we keep count? So literally, it's really this simple. I'm just gonna add half a cup of flour, half a cup of water, mix it, and then that's all you have to do. This isn't my wide mouth thing, so it's going everywhere. All right, so I got my flour. And my water. And my fork. And you stir, 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 stir. So it should be pancakey mix-like. Does that make sense? Like pancake batter. I don't know if you can see that very well. I can also thicken this up too, but this is usually about the consistency of what I like my starter at, so I think I'm gonna leave it. All right, once that's nice and mixed, you're just gonna put the top on it and set it in a warm place. I will show you every day, just kind of compile it, how this turns out. So I'm gonna let it sit for the next 24 hours, check on it, and then day 2, you don't do anything, you don't feed it. So it's not gonna probably be the most exciting update, but I will show you that next. Hey guys, so today is day 2 of our starter. So you're not doing anything today. Nothing really exciting's happening. Literally, you can just let it sit on your counter for another day. The only reason I'm coming on to show you is so that way you don't freak out, because you most likely will have, and if you don't, you didn't do anything wrong either. You mostly have this like liquid on the top here. That's called hooch. It's normal. All it is just a sign that your starter needs to be fed, which I think my starter has it right now. It just means you need to feed it. However, because we're fermenting, we're not feeding it day 2. So we're gonna feed it tomorrow. So it's something we can mix in and discard tomorrow. So I just wanted to point that out, because I know when I first did mine, I was like, oh my God, I killed it. No, it's normal, and you don't have to do anything for it. So just gotta let it sit on the counter for another 24 hours. So I'm really sad. It was day 3 and everything was going really well with the starter, but I checked it a couple hours ago and I could tell up by like where the rim of the mason jar was that there was like this black speck, like they were starting to mold. And I looked at the bottom of the mason jar and it looked like there was some of that hooch at the bottom, like it didn't get drained off. So I don't really know what happened. I don't know if I like mixed it in on accident and just it didn't drain, and so that's what led to like it molding. I don't know. So I almost didn't say anything and I was like, well, I'll just scrap it and start over, but I wanted to share because I feel like it was bound to happen, you know, at some point. And just to show that like I'm human. I don't know what happened. It happens. So anyway, I did get a different mason jar and start over. So we're back at square one, unfortunately. Okay, friends, so last time you saw me, I was starting my sourdough over again because it molded, which it's very unfortunate. But you know, of course, when I'm making a video saying like, I know how to do this, I screw it up. So again, I don't really know what happened, but this is day 4 and I already fed it today. So, go me, I didn't film it, which I don't know why, but I fed it. It had a lot of that, hooch on the top again. So I drained that all out and then I did the 1/2 cup flour, 1/2 cup water, like you do. So that's pretty much what the process is gonna look like from now until day 7. So that's gonna be the process for the next 3 days. And then we will check it out on day 7 and see where we're at. Hey guys, so it's the morning of day 5 and we need to feed this bad boy. See, he's got some of the hooch on the top, so I'm gonna drain this off and feed 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup flour. And now we let it sit for another 24 hours. Hey guys, so it is day 6 and I'm going to feed our starter. It is same thing like normal, 1/2 cup flour, 1/2 cup water. And now we check it again tomorrow. It is day 7 of our starter and we need to feed it. Okay, so now that we've fed it, I am going to put it in a new clean jar. One of the things that I have not done throughout this video that you can do if you want is after you feed it every day, you can tie a rubber band on your jar and watch the progress. I did that the first time I made starter. I didn't do it this time because I would look at it periodically throughout the day and I kind of measured it that way, but so you can do the rubber band, you don't have to. Now that we've put it in a clean jar, we can name it. I don't know what I'm gonna name this one yet. I'm gonna think about it. It's like a tradition to do it, so have fun with it. That is why this here is Doughy Jr. and Doughy Jr. needs to be fed, but I named him partly Doughy Jr. because Doughy, my original starter, I mixed in with some starter that my sister Hannah gave me, so it was like the starter baby of the two. So I named it Doughy Jr. He will probably be named Fritz or something. I don't know. But yeah, so name it, have fun with it. And at this point it's been 7 days, so after you fed it, if it's all fluffy and bubbly and active, you can use it. I might wait like another week or so to use him. He does get very bubbly and active. He grows and then shrinks, so I think he is ready to use, but I'm gonna wait another week or so just to really let him ferment and get all of that goodness going. So it's kind of up to you. Watch your starter, see what it's doing. If it's very bubbly and fluffy, feel free to use it, or also wait another week too if you want. So I didn't want to leave this video without a few practical tips that helped me make sourdough a little bit easier. The first thing is, okay, so when you fed your sourdough and it's fermented and you look at it, you're like, oh, is it ready yet? Like, can I use it? Is it gonna make really fluffy, light bread? Here's a quick tip. Fill a glass of water, take a spoon and put a little bit of your starter in the water. And get it. If it floats, it's ready to use. See how it's floating? If it sinks, it's either fermented too long, and you need to feed it again. So that's my tip. The second thing is, I know it can seem like a lot to feed your starter every day. And if you're not planning to use your starter as frequently as like what I do, I make bread quite a lot and I make bagels quite a lot. So I usually just leave it on my counter and feed it every day. I would suggest putting it in your fridge. You can put it in your fridge and it slows the fermentation process down so you don't have to feed it every day. You just feed it once a week. If you put it in the fridge and you are planning to use it that week, what I would do is take it out the night before you plan to use it and feed it and make sure it gets all bubbly and active again and get it to like wake up, and then it should be fine to use like normal. But those are 2 tips that I learned along the way of sourdough that have made it significantly easier. So I hope that is helpful. And if you still have any questions, please let me know in the comments. But other than that, I hope you guys have fun making all of your sourdough recipes.